Hi, I'm Dave, and I'm here today because I'm very angry. Look, I love my country, but I absolutely hate my government. Our problems today are complex, but instead of looking for real solutions, Washington's hiding behind party rhetoric. The main reason that Obama is in office today, in my opinion, is because voters were delivering a repudiation of the Bush administration's policies. Only a pundit could turn this repudiation into a mandate from the people that we support Democrats lock, stock, and barrel. The fact is, people are scared, confused, and angry. We don't need more partisanship. We need leadership. Leadership that Washington in general is unwilling or unable to provide. With this in mind, I'd like to propose a few common sense recommendations and observations in no particular order. Economically speaking, we're in a very delicate place. I get that we can't keep spending like we are, but if we make a sudden, jarring cut in spending like the Republicans propose, government workers will become employed, government contracts will be canceled, and so forth, causing more layoffs. Economic activity will stall, and for lack of a better way to phrase it, generally bad things will happen. Yes, we do need a balanced budget, and we need to pay off our debt, but we need a balanced solution. With that said, though, it is time to start paying the piper. We need to reduce our spending. I think a good place to start would be at the global level. We need to reduce our foreign aid. Look, our friends are going to understand, and if they're not our friends, then we shouldn't be giving them money anyway. We should also quit being the world's police force. Think about this. What works in California doesn't necessarily work in Wyoming. Why should we think that what works in America is going to work in China or Saudi Arabia? Besides, sometimes it's okay to let the kids fight things out, for lack of a better way to phrase it. This approach would also let us reduce our military spending, which will help lower our expenses over the long haul. Speaking of major expenses, let's talk about Obamacare. I'm not a big fan of massive taxes, but I think the Republicans have this one wrong. Completely dismantling and undoing Obamacare is a bad idea. We know that healthcare spending is unsustainable, and Obamacare definitely has shortcomings, but we can't go back. We already know for certain that going back will not fix the problem. We need to work together to make healthcare available and affordable for the masses, but simply reducing and repealing Obamacare won't make this happen. Let's talk about Social Security. Face it, we can't instantly change things for people who are already retired or for people who are going to retire in a year or two. But once again, politicians are too scared to tackle the issue in any fashion, and they just keep kicking the can down the road. Common sense, an obviously uncommon virtue in Washington, dictates that over the long haul, Social Security income needs to increase, benefits need to decrease, or a combination of the two. I recommend a combination. Let's phase in a tax increase. I know taxes are a dirty word, but I'm talking like 1/10% to 0.5% over the next several years. And let's slowly increase the retirement age to 67 if you're going to retire early. To put this in perspective, I'm 40 something, and based on how things are now, I don't expect to be able to retire at all. So from my perspective, this plan is a bonus because I might actually get to retire someday, even if it's only for a couple of years. Oh yeah, we also need to raise the tax ceiling on Social Security. Hey, this sucks to hear if you make a lot of money, but too bad. The time for selfishness is over. Speaking of taxes, the rich tend to complain about their tax rate, but they don't discuss that they also have a lot of tax exemptions available to them. As far as I'm concerned, we need to close loopholes and have a very mildly graduated tax system. But with that said, everyone should pay some taxes, even the poorest among us. And yeah, this applies to corporations too. I think it's obscene that a company the size of GE can pay less in taxes than a middle class family, while small businesses can't take advantage of loopholes at all. Is it legal? Yeah. Is it moral? No. While we're at it, let's focus on corporate America for a bit. Corporations are not people. End of story. Let's talk about political spending. What a joke. I think it's disgusting that politicians are elected and then need to start raising boatloads of cash the day that they're sworn in. It's also disgusting that people or companies can contribute money to political causes and not have to identify themselves. Where I come from, if you can't sign your name to what you're saying, then it's not worth saying. You know, now that I think about it, I think that instead of just ranting, I'm going to announce my candidacy. Yeah, in fact I am. This is me, Dave Cork, and I am announcing my candidacy for the President of the United States for the 2012 election cycle. This, of course, is going to need to be a strictly write-in campaign because it's too late to get on the ballots. But wouldn't my election send shivers down the spines of every single politician in office today? I'll tell you what, if you elect me, I'm not going to make a lot of promises, but I do promise that I'll do a few things. I will wear jeans and t-shirts as much as possible, and I will most likely appear on camera unshaven from time to time. I'll probably drop an F-bomb or two, and it might even be while the camera's on and the microphone's on. In fact, I'll probably misspeak quite a bit. I'm not part of that politically correct crowd, so I tend to speak relatively plainly. So if you do elect me, listen to what I mean, not what I say. I promise that I will work with Democrats and Republicans, but only if they too negotiate in good faith. I promise that there will be absolutely no sacred cows from a political standpoint. And I promise that I'll do something that you disagree with at one point or another. I promise that I will listen to the people, but I will not be a slave to the polls. I don't need a full presidential salary either. I can't say what I do need because I'll probably have to buy new suits and a few things like that, but I suspect I could get by on less than half. I'll donate the rest. I also promise that I will care more about my country than my image. Since this is a write-in campaign, I promise not to take any money from special interests. In fact, I don't need any campaign money at all. My name is Dave Cork, and I approve this message. Hell, I wrote it.